Do you ever run out of breath when you're singing a particularly long phrase? Do you find yourself gasping for air or perhaps taking a breath before you intended? A lot of people believe that this problem is due to not taking in enough air or not having enough air. Well, do you have enough air? If you can carry on a conversation or take a short walk without feeling winded, you likely have enough air. You may be thinking, well, if I have enough air, then why am I running out of breath when I'm singing? To answer this question, I'm going to do a little demonstration with a balloon. I've already blown the balloon up, and to release the air or to regulate the speed of the release of the air in the balloon, I'm going to change the pressure here at my fingers between my index finger and my thumb. So if I want to release it slowly, I will maintain some pressure and release that only slightly. If I want to release that air more quickly, I'll loosen that pressure and let her go. The vocal folds regulate the release of breath in a very similar way. During speech or singing, the vocal folds oscillate or vibrate to create the changes in air pressure that generate the sound of the voice. They can vibrate from under 100 times per second in cisgendered males to well over 1,000 times per second in cisgendered females. How completely the vocal folds connect or close during each vibratory cycle largely determines how quickly a person will release the air, a little bit like my fingers in the balloon demonstration. In the image on the left, we can see vocal folds that have complete closure. This would represent a non-breathy tone, and airflow rates might be around 80 to 100 milliliters of air per second. The image on the right shows someone with incomplete closure. Incomplete closure results in a breathier tone. How breathy? It depends on how big the gap is, but those airflow rates might exceed 300 milliliters of air per second in a fairly breathy tone. Here on the left, we can see someone with vocal folds that are not closing at all, and those airflow rates would be very high, and the tone would be extremely breathy. In the image on the right, the closure is nearly complete with only a small gap. Those airflow rates might be only slightly higher than someone with complete closure, and the breathiness in the tone might be barely audible. The choice to use a breathy or a non-breathy tone is up to the artist, and neither are inherently bad or good. But the person with incomplete closure and a breathy tone will run out of breath quicker than if they were using a non-breathy tone with complete closure. So this time I blew up my balloon as much as I could on one breath to get an estimate of my usable air or my vital capacity. I measured this, I turned it on its side, and I measured it from top to bottom or bottom to top, and it measured around 15 centimeters, which correlates with about 2 liters of air. So if I have complete vocal fold closure and I'm trying to sustain a tone for as long as I can with my vital capacity, I should be able to sustain that tone for at least 20 seconds. So if you can blow up a balloon to at least 15 centimeters from bottom to top, then you should be able to go at least 20 seconds. Most people have a vital capacity of at least 2 liters, if not 3 or more. So what do you do if you want to improve vocal fold closure? Well, there are many techniques to do this, including the use of glottal onsets. You could work on body energy or add brightness to the tone, to name a few. But one of my favorites is to increase the pressure of a plosive. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that today. Plosives are consonants that are created with a momentary stop in air followed by a burst of air. There are 6 of these in the English language, including p, b, t, d, k, and g. You will notice when you make a plosive that in the moment of the stop, there's a simultaneous closure of the vocal folds. So for example, when I make a p sound, I can feel the closure of my vocal folds a little bit like a breath hold in the moment of the stop. So try it. Just before the release, you feel that closure, and this helps train the vocal folds to stay in a more closed position. You can increase the pressure of the burst by lengthening the stop. So, for example, Tom, baby, boy. Notice I'm holding that stop a little bit longer, and it also increases the loudness or amplitude of the burst that follows it because I've increased the pressure, which has then generated increased vocal fold closure and a stronger sound. You can practice using plosives when you sing scales or arpeggios. I really like the voiced b and feel like it generates a good bit of pressure. So I'm going to do bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. Notice I'm prolonging the stop before I create the sound. You can also try adding a plosive to the beginning of every syllable in something that you're singing. Bap, beep, burp, bay, boo, boo. Bap, beep, burp, bay, boo, boo. Bap, beep, burp, bay, bap, beep, burp, bay, bap, beep, burp, bay, boo, boo. I hope you found this video useful. You know, there are lots of things that we have to consider with breath management. The breath varies depending on what we're doing in various parts of the range. It varies depending on what we're singing, what style of music we're singing. And so there are lots of things to consider, and this is only one of them. If you'd like to learn more about breath management, I invite you to join me on my latest course, Beyond Breath Support, Breaking Free from the One-Size-Fits-All Breathing Strategies for Singers. Have a great day.